May is the peak month for tornadoes and large hail in the United States, but reports of damaging wind from severe thunderstorms peak in July. That's also true in Pennsylvania. And many of the wind damage reports are caused by what's called a derecho, a particularly powerful severe windstorm. Now, formally, a derecho is a widespread damaging windstorm caused by one or more lines of thunderstorms. It's a Spanish word that loosely translates to straight ahead, referring to the damage which is typically in a straight line, in contrast to the twisted damage pattern of a tornado. To officially be a derecho, some of the winds have to be greater than 75 miles per hour, and the swath of damage has to be at least 250 miles long. And with that kind of damage path, derechos really stand out when you look at a map of damaging wind reports. For example, here's a day in July 2005 when one clipped Pennsylvania. The blue dots are locations of wind damage. 28 counties were hit in Pennsylvania that day. Now here's another case from August 2003 when a derecho raced from Indiana all the way to the East Coast, producing a damage path about 100 miles wide. 20 counties in Pennsylvania reported downed trees and power lines on this day. And here's a radar view of that thunderstorm complex while it was crossing the state. And like most derechos, it had a curved segment that bowed forward. This is called a bow echo, shaped kind of like a backwards letter C. The strongest surface winds are typically found right at the apex of the bow. And those damaging winds are usually fed from behind by a fast jet of winds up around 10,000 feet, called a rear inflow jet. Some of this speedy air gets pulled to the surface in the downdraft of the thunderstorm, and as the line moves, those winds help create the swath of damage. Now, a typical summer weather pattern that favors a derecho might have an east-west oriented front with a low pressure system that helps circulate warm and humid low-level air out of the Gulf. And then those strong mid-level winds are blowing parallel to the front, and these feed the rear inflow jet and also help the thunderstorm complex move along the front. Derechos really aren't that common. Here's a look at how often they occur. On average, once or twice a year from northeast Texas all the way into western Pennsylvania, once every 2 years as far north as the upper Midwest and southern New England. But when they hit, they tend to be memorable. Here's one that raced across Pennsylvania on Labor Day 10 years ago. The damage stretched from northern Ohio to New York City, where 4 people were killed and 62 injured, mostly by falling trees or overturned boats, and more than 300,000 customers lost power. The damage from a derecho usually affects a much wider area than even a large tornado. In fact, in terms of downed trees and power lines, derecho damage often resembles that of a landfalling hurricane. Fred will be back with the extended forecast next.